There's a lot to look forward to when it comes to the future of Alchemy Stars. Toy Dog has done a spectacular job both in terms of gameplay and story from my perspective. Just recently, an interview came out about what's to come in the future of the game, including the release of Chapter 2. So with this video, I wanted to give my thoughts on 3 things I'm hoping to see within this next chapter. The first one I wanted to start off with is something that's pretty much already been confirmed in the interview with Toy Dog, and that's the involvement of the True Order. Now, you already know if you've watched my past videos, but the True Order is my favorite faction within this game. And Toy Dog confirming that we'll see more of them in this next chapter has me excited. I mean, right now, they're pretty much the top faction that we know least about. Although every member pretty much have a goal within the faction, we know that the main goal overall of the True Order is discovering the truth of the world, and being that they'll have more focus in this next chapter most likely. We'll probably start having some ideas about what this truth is. For all we know, the truth may or may not be endgame of the story, probably more of relation to their reasoning for collecting these seeds. To which goes back to what exactly that tome is Victoria was feeding the seeds to. Either way, excited to see more of them. I'm also excited that this might mean we'll get more members added to the roster. After all, we haven't had anyone new since Palmer back in the Letters from the Skies event. As of right now, when you look at the True Order under the illustration tab, they only have 2 groups in compared to other factions, which are the first and second factions, with Palmer still pretty much by herself. So hopefully when Chapter 2 comes this summer, we'll get to see more of the workings of the faction and what other inner groups they have within them and the responsibilities they hold. And this may be more personal, but if this means we get to see more of my girl Palmer, I'm happy and ready for it. The second thing I'm looking forward to is hopefully seeing Reinhardt, commander of the Illumina Federation. Now, in games like this, you often get introduced to characters who will eventually become playable far down the line. And I knew instantly the moment I saw Reinhardt, she was gonna be one. Putting money that she'll be a Dunner unit. I said this in my top 8 faction video, but Illumina is among one of my more favorite factions within the game. And I'm not no military geek or whatever, but the more I see from this faction, the more interested I become. Their technology, the departments, characters, it's always fascinating to me to see how they work. And Reinhardt is the commander in charge of all of this. Right there automatically took a lot of my attention already. So far we haven't managed to see a lot from her outside of making a few appearances here and there. But those appearances got me very interested for what's the plan with her. From discovering that Faraskin is her sister to Reinhardt admitting how Illumina has involvement with the case of Eclipsite transformation. And when you go through the files of Legion commanders, you see how each have such high respect for her one way or another. And if we're being honest, this is a group that doesn't necessarily get along all that well with each other. Like siblings who get on each other's nerves but still love each other. At least from my perspective. Along with actually visiting Ganon City where Illumina main base is, I'm looking forward to getting more involved with Reinhardt. The last thing I have expectations for, although it's probably more unlikely to happen, Calestite lore. Or to be more specific, the reason that led to putting the entire race to near extinction. We already know there was some careful planning when it came to wiping out the Navigator's race, but there's no doubt that this was done for a bigger goal. This wasn't just a random case of genocide, and I'm pretty sure it has to do with the power that Calestites possess. The ability to see Luminatics and Mind Link. These are a few unique powers that only the Calestite race have. I feel like we'll eventually soon start digging up more about what made them what they are. Be it ancestors who made connections with a divine power or some sort of case. It's definitely been a story plot I've been quite interested in since the start of this game. And when you go back to the Sands of Time event, that moment when Navigator was dreaming of the day his people was under attack by Eclipse, there was a moment where he was using his power to control Eclipsites. I always thought that to be a very interesting thing they showed. Heck, it could be possible for the Navigator to become capable of something like that. Especially when you take into consideration that he's able to go into the minds of others and even see past memories. The Calestite race has always been built up to be unique in comparison to others, especially when they used to fight alongside Orions against the Eclipse. So even if it's for a little bit, I'm hoping for a chance to see more about their history and what makes them who they are. And that's about it. Those are just a few things I'm hoping to see when Chapter 2 comes around. I can't wait to see the adventures and the discovery we'll have. This has really been a fun and interesting game to play, so let me know in the comments below what you guys are hoping to see in Chapter 2, and I hope to see y'all next time.